But coming to DevOps is not a technology. It's a set of principles and practices that we adapt in software development to software delivery. So some basic questions, and I'll engage you, asking you questions so that you get some answers and some insights out of the answers you do. Say all of us we are aware of placing online orders, isn't it? Online lo entamandi shopping chestunaru? Amazon, Flipkart, or food online. How many of us ordering food online? So when you place an online order, what do you expect, or what is your criteria? Like, let's say I ordered food online today. What do we expect from that order? Fast delivery. Okay, reason. The first thing is we expect a fast delivery. Second thing, good restaurant. Now let's say for fast delivery annar కాబట్టి చెప్తున్నా, but చాలా fast గా deliver చేస్తాడు. Like, let's say you ordered food now, the time shown was 1 hour, but within 20 minutes the food is delivered. But what happened is when you saw the food, it's all spilled in a bag. So do you accept that? Meaning there is something else which we are expecting there. Of course, fast delivery, but at the same time, quality, isn't it? Quality, right? Quality wise, it should be good. Likewise, quantity wise, we have a lot of our own metrics to understand whether the food that we received is good or not, right? Likewise, now DevOps is a process involved in software development to software delivery. Now let's say I own a software company and one of you own some business, like let's say a bank. Nowadays we know that every business of any domain you take, every business is flourishing with the help of their own application softwares. Hospitals, they're having their own softwares. Banking firms, they're having their own softwares. Airlines, booking tickets, their own softwares. Likewise, shipping and transportation, logistics, whatever the business you take, every business of any domain you take, every business is flourishing with their own application softwares. Now, question again here. Who develops application softwares for these businesses? Bank undanukondi, HDFC Bank. A bank software HDFC Bank vade తయారు చేసుకుంటున్నాడా, లేకపోతే they rely on someone? They definitely rely on someone, because HDFC Bank, they know the strategies how to expand their business in finance, because they belong to the finance domain. They have well much expertise within their domain. They don't know anything about what's the software field, or at least as a software organization, what extent a software organization have knowledge, that knowledge is not available to a bank, right? So that is the reason they rely on some software company to get their application software developed. Right now, when an organization is expecting a software, now let's say I own a software company and one of you starting a bank, and you approached me saying, Prashant, I need a banking software. Now, the way how we are applying for simpler things, how we are expecting a faster delivery and a quality of food, right? Quality of a product when we place online order. Likewise, you expect the same from me. Prashant should develop an application software to me, which should have no bugs, no issues, no challenges. He should deliver the software to me to the earliest, faster, so that I can start my business to the earliest, right? So now, as a software company, what should I do? Means I have to fulfill these 4 business needs. As a software company, when I'm developing an application software to my clients, I have to make sure that I satisfy these 4 business needs. What are they? Continuous delivery, deliver a product to my client in time. Second, higher quality, ensuring higher quality. Whatever the application I develop, with that application, my client should not face any challenge. So I have to make sure that the application which I release, it should be a quality application. Next, cost optimization. This is important. Cost optimization. This is important for me to make profits. అంతే కదండి, ఇప్పుడు ప్రతి బిజినెస్ వాళ్ళు whatever the products they sell, they want to make profits out of it, isn't it? Right? So now, as a software company, I am developing a software. You are investing money within me. Now, what should I do? Whatever the investment you do, out of that investment, I should spend less. ఏం తక్కువ ఖర్చు పెట్టాలి మీరు ఇచ్చే అమౌంట్ తోటి, and he should deliver you a quality software. So that what happens now, let's say one of you invested $1 million for your software. Now if I find, let's say a product within by spending only 20% of the product, only 20% of the amount I'm spending, and if I do so, what happens, I'm gaining 80% of the profit out of your investment, isn't it? Likewise, now software companies, in order to make sure that they they evolve, they do profits and they stay ahead of their competitors. And నాకులాగా ఇంకొన్ని software companies ఉన్నాయి, right, in the market. Now I should compete with them, I should stay ahead of them. So what should I do? I have to make sure I do more and more profits, and I offer better solutions to my clients. So for that, to make profits, I should identify a cost-effective solution. And finally, reduce the outages, meaning once a product is delivered to the client, మీరు ఏ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ అయినా తీసుకోండి, ఎనీ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ across the globe, at some point of time, every software experiences some downtime. Any software you take, at some point of time, every software applications do face some downtime, some challenge. So when software applications face the challenges, I have to make sure that I reduce that challenge to the very minimal time. So see now the best example, phone pay, Google Pay, Paytm. ఇవి ఎప్పుడు పనిచేస్తూనే ఉంటున్నాయండి, లేదా మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా అవి ఫెయిల్ అవడం చూస్తున్నారా? At times we find when we try to do transaction with phone pay, it won't work, it fails, right? Then what to do again? We try to do transactions with either Google Pay or Paytm, other applications. అంటే ఇక్కడ ఏమవుతుంది అంటే, two things to understand. One is phone pay is losing their business, that is true, but at the same time what's happening is their competitors are doing better business. అంటే 1,000 members, they are supposed to transact over phone pay, but phone pay is down, so immediately they are switching to Paytm or Google Pay, meaning now the downtime of one application is becoming a boon to their competitor businesses, right? Phone pay indirectly, they because of their application failure, they're making their competitors do better business. They're losing, at the same time they are passively promoting others. So as a software company, we should not entertain that. అంటే మనకు ఒక client approach అయినప్పుడు, we have to make sure that the client's applications are always running. So for that, I have to make sure that I fulfill these 4 business needs, so that my client's applications work absolutely fine. At the same time, I do better business and I stay ahead of my competitors, right? So now to achieve these as a software company, these are some of the software development models. Software development model is nothing but a discipline of activities. Okay, a discipline of activities. Like let's say we want to travel from Hyderabad to Vizag. Now, how many roads do we have to travel from Hyderabad to Vizag? Multiple approaches, isn't it? So మీరు explore చేయలే కానీ there are hundreds of roads to reach. But if you want to reach faster, what we do, we choose a platform, or we choose some highway, plain road, right? A complete highway, like say from Hyderabad, Vijayawada, Visakhapatnam, highway, right? It takes, if you have a perfect car, you can reach to the destination within 12 hours or 10 hours, right? So the software development models, these are some of the models which organizations use to adapt in their software development to delivery process. So when they adapted these approaches, somewhere they were unable to satisfy these all these business needs, or some of them. Okay, product delivery cheyagalite with some model, there might be a challenge with quality. If we are able to identify a quality application, delivering a product might be a challenge when we adapted some of these software development models. So I'm not going to show you all, just a traditional SDLC. Let's find out. This is a traditional software development model which is adapted back in the past, like a few decades ago, back when software was not developed at this huge level. At that time, we used to follow a traditional software development model. So we were 10 years, 20 years back, softwares were not that greatly used in all trades, in all businesses. Mostly banks దగ్గర చూసేవాళ్ళం softwares, right? And post offices 20 years ago, no, everything was manual. Like when you send a some registered post, Everything they used to write manually and then send via post. But now, if you compare now what's happening everywhere, every business, every domain, they're having their own application softwares. Shipping and logistics, transportation, hospitals. ఒక హాస్పిటల్లో మీరు ట్రీట్మెంట్ తీసుకుని ఉంటే after 1 year you go, they just enter your what's a patient ID and they get all the details about you, right? The last year, what scans did they do, right? What sort of tests did they perform at that time? Likewise, now if they write any tests, you perform some tests, immediately what's happening? All those tests are updated again back to the hospital software. And it work mere reports and carry chesevaru. Now there is no need of carrying to. And sophisticated hospitals only they jarugundandi, right? So they are adapted to that level, meaning every business of every domain they started adapting to this huge extent. Now, if we apply this traditional model and develop a software in the current day scenario, what happens is it's similar to you using a Nokia phone now. And ఈ మోడల్ని అడాప్ట్ చేసుకుని మనం ఇప్పుడు సాఫ్ట్వేర్ డెవలప్మెంట్ చేస్తే it's something similar to we are now using some Nokia 1100 phone, where you cannot do any transactions with it, right? It's not a smartphone, it's just a phone to pick calls or do calls, that is it. So now to meet according to the increasing demand of software usage in multiple domains, to meet that need and deliver a product to the client in time, we are adapting a software development model called Agile. In the current day scenario, we are not using any of these traditional approaches, because traditional approaches of software development, what used to happen means we used to develop ante ikkada oka approach undadandi. In traditional approach, what used to happen means now if I got to develop an application software to a bank, they gave me 50 features. They want a software with some 50 features like customer account creation, deposits, fixed deposits, loans, gold loans, net banking, phone banking, etc. Now, in traditional approach, we used to develop that entire software and deliver that entire software to the client. So with this approach, these are all the challenges, and we were unable to deliver a product to the client in time. But at that time, back 2 decades ago, at that time, this was the model which was successful. But now, current day scenario, no one has the patience to wait for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. So if we approach Prashant, I want to start e-commerce business, and I need an e-commerce website on there. And I'm saying, okay, fine. It will take 3 years time for us to develop a software on an only. What happens? Are you ready to wait for 3 years and then start your business? No one has that patience, right? No one has the patience. Now we are living in the era where we are sleeping with the help of a software, we're waking up with the help of a software, isn't it? So mobile applications, every day new software is getting added, right? Desktop applications and so on. So in this fast moving world, no one has the patience to wait for an entire software product to be developed and delivered in one go. This is outdated. Now we are adapting a model called Agile. So now in Agile model, what we do is we understand the priorities of the client, and accordingly we develop an application and deliver it to the client. And take range Agile way of software development. Let's say if I got to develop an application to a bank, first I understand what are your requirements. I check with the bank what software is required for you. Okay, you gave me 50 features, but initially for you to get started off with, what features are required? Now the banking firm says, first things first, I need a software with customer account creation, deposits, fixed deposits, withdrawals, and let's say balance inquiry. Initially, a software with these 5 features is there, I can start my business. Loans, gold loans, just give me a software with these 5 features initially. Because we know, right? Now let's say today we go to a bank and create a bank account. And tomorrow you go to the same bank, and if you ask, I need loan, do they offer you? You are account creates no. They say that at least we need a bank account to which is let's say some 3 months old or 6 months old, or at least you should have done some good amount of transactions, isn't it? So now when you are starting a banking business right away today, all the customers are new. So you're not ready to offer any loans to them. So now a software with all the loan functionality is not required for you, right? So at some point of time, if you get that functionality, that is fine. Now a software with all the features right away is not really important for you. In that case, what we do is we adapt agile way of software development, and we understand the priorities of the client and develop an application in incremental fashion. అంటే ఇది మీకు ఎట్లా చెప్పొచ్చు అంటే, say friends, 1000-meter running race ఉంది for police selections, 1000-meter running race. Now what happened is, in the city there is no no ground with a 1000-meter of length, but there is one ground with only 200-meter radius. Is it possible to conduct a 1000-meter running race over there? ఇదండి కొన్ని ట్రాక్స్ వేద్దాం, ఇట్లా సమ్ ట్రాక్స్ యాడ్ చేసుకొని దే రన్ 200 meters, one circle, 200 meters completed. They continue again a circle, 3, 4, 5. If they complete 5 lapses, yes, a 1000-meter running race is over. Who completes the race or all those lapses first, he's announced as the winner, right? So now when we have no resource, how to utilize the existing one? That is what we do, right? Likewise, now instead of developing an entire software, instead of looking for developing a whole software with all the functionalities, what we do is we start interacting with the client, understand their priorities, and complete the software in an incremental fashion. So over here, friends, Agile, if we try to understand all these boxes, think of all these boxes as one single software. And what we do, earlier we used to develop all these boxes at a time and deliver that entire product to the client in one go. But now things changed. What we do is we first understand the priorities of the client, add all the priorities of the client in this box, plan, write code, test, review, and release. So that the client gets started off with his business with this minimal piece of software. Client starts his business with this software. Now, again, in some time interval, what I do is I added some more features, which are second set of priorities. I'll develop the code, right, test the application, review it, and release it to the client as a second iteration. So this way, in an incremental fashion, module by module, we are developing and delivering to the client. So it make already mere use chestunna technology anandi. How many of us do mobile updates? Mobile updates, applications updates చేస్తూ ఉంటారు కదా. What is the meaning of an update, friends? There are existing features, a software with existing features. When you update, what's happening? Some more new features getting added, right? The same happens here too. We develop an application, and what we do is we deliver the product to the client, and for every iteration at the client level, new features gets added. So based on the priorities of the client, we we add these modules. Very prioritized features we develop and deliver in the initial place, and not so prioritized features we release them to the end. Okay, but for every iteration we plan, write code, test, and review it. And what's the process or the time duration that we assign for every module is ranging from 2 weeks to 4 weeks. And then in every module to complete, your organization sets a sprint time duration. It should be ranging from 2 weeks to 4 weeks. So if at all it is 2 weeks only, developers should write code, test team should test the application, you got to review it, and finally release it. By the end of 2 weeks, a product should be delivered to the client. That's the priority. So in Agile model, as you know, in software development to delivery, there are a lot of teams involved. A team of developers, front end, back end, UI developers. So we'll just, let's say there is a first module given to them. So they write code for the first module, and they maintain all their code in some version controlling platform. And let's say developer A working on customer account creation, developer B working on deposits, developer C on fixed deposits, and developer D on some gold loans, something like that. All their code combined is one single project. But say developer A is from Hyderabad, B is from Chennai, C is from Bangalore, and D is from Mumbai. Now, all their code to bring together we need a platform, and that platform we term it as a version controlling platform. So we got a tool called GitHub, using which we upload the code, or all the developers upload the code here. Once the code is uploaded, then what happens is there is a team called a build and release build team. Their responsibility is to get that code, convert that code into a software package. Okay, there is a process involved here called a build process, using which a build team compiles the source code. How many of us from computer science background? Java programs ఎంతమంది రాశారండి? Java, C, C++. So compilation, విన్నారా concept? Or we know, right? Machines understand what language. Digital devices understand which language.
Binary language.
Sorry?
Binary language, 0, 1.
Binary, 1 and zeros, right? So, ఇక్కడ developers ఏం చేస్తున్నారు అంటే they are writing code in plain English. అంటే Java, C, C++ తో వాళ్ళ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ రాస్తున్నారు. These are all in English instructions. A machine doesn't understand them, right? That is the reason now a build team should convert that code into machine understandable format. Likewise, they have to package it as an application software. So that process is called as a build process. And an application gets created here. Now, once an application is created, we are not releasing it to the client. Package we are not we are not supposed to release it. We have to make sure we test it, right? Whether the application is working fine or not. Let's say this is a calculator software. Now I have to deliver it to the client, but before delivering, what should I do? I should test it. Whether the arithmetic operations are happening fine or not. 5 plus 5 is equal to 10 ravali. Now our QA team, when they test it, they're getting a result 25. What was that? It's a bug, right? So immediately QA team notes back to development team saying, whatever the software source code you have written, that is wrong. Go ahead, correct your code. Now a team of developers, what do? They again write the code and correct their code and maintain it at GitHub level. Again, a build team should get the code, build it, and create a package. Again, a test team should test the application, understand whether the earlier bug is fixed or not. Are there any new bugs, new challenges? They should understand, and finally, they should release the application. Meaning, if everything is fine, then they release the application to production. So in this process, there are a lot of things required, like servers kavali, servers lo applications kavali. Likewise, ఈ అప్లికేషన్ రన్ అవడానికి కొన్ని డిపెండెన్సీ సాఫ్ట్వేర్స్ అవసరం అవుతాయి. సో ఆల్ దోస్ ఆర్ మేనేజ్డ్ బై ఆపరేషన్ టీమ్స్ ఆర్ సిస్టమ్ ఇంజనీర్స్. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద డిఫరెంట్ టీమ్స్ ఇన్వాల్వ్డ్ ఇన్ అ agile workflow. And now friends, the major challenge in agile is if at all these teams are working in proper coordination, well and good. But if they are not working in proper coordination, challenges do arise. And yes, agile web software development has some major challenge, which is coordination issues. So what are these? I'll explain with a simple example. Food delivery chestunnappudu, what is the business logic or a model, if you understand? As a customer, I am placing an online order, say biryani, and I paid money already. Ippudu em avutundi? Some restaurant, they receive my order. Followed by that, a restaurant, they should prepare the food of my choice. Food prepare chesina tarvata vadu em cheyali? What happens? What do you think happens next? So customer receive just food prepare అయిపోయిందండి. Now what happens next? ఆర్డర్ వీడు ఏం చేయాలంటే రెస్టారెంట్ వాడు ఒక డెలివరీ టీమ్ కి కాల్ చేయాలి. డెలివరీ పర్సన్ కాల్ చేసి ఇలాగ సమ్ కస్టమర్ ఆర్డర్డ్ ఫుడ్ ప్రిపేర్ అయిపోయింది, డెలివరీ ఇట్ టు ద కస్టమర్. Right now, then what happens? The delivery guy comes, pick the food and deliver to us. This is a quick example. Now let's say ఈ రెస్టారెంట్ వాడు ఆర్డర్ తీసుకున్న తర్వాత the restaurant guy is with a mindset, నేను ఆర్డర్ తీసుకున్నాను, ఫుడ్ ప్రిపేర్ చేశాను, my job is done. It is the responsibility of a delivery guy to come and pick the food. నాకు సంబంధం లేదు అక్కడ వీడు. And the delivery guy is with a mindset, let the restaurant call me. వాడు ఫుడ్ ప్రిపేర్ చేసాడో లేదో నాకేం తెలుసు, let him call me so that I go pick the food. వీళ్ళిద్దరి మధ్యన కమ్యూనికేషన్ గ్యాప్. And ultimately, who is the sufferer here? customer who paid the money already, but is not getting the food in time. The same happening here. There are multiple teams involved in a software development to delivery process. Developers, front end, back end, test team, build and release engineers. If at all they are staying within their boundaries and doing work, it is very difficult to release an application to the client, right? And that is one major effect, major challenge identified in Agile. And second challenge is a developer developed a software that is working absolutely fine on his machine. And now, once the application is developed, we are not releasing it, right? We have to test it, quality. So now the same application is deployed to QA, test team. And what happened is at the test level, the application is failing. Now the test guy says the application is not working fine. And the developer says, no, the software is working fine for me. వీడికేమో బాగానే పనిచేస్తుంది the software. For him, it's not working. Now this guy says, I'm not approving your product, I'm not releasing it. You fix the challenge. And this guy says it's working fine, so I got nothing to fix. And again, this is leading to a problem called IWOM. It's a quick acronym too. It works on my machine. It works on my machine. That is what developer says. And the project again, it's not going forward. Right? So this is one more major problem, which is not letting a product get delivered to the client in time. I think underlying challenge identify chestam. Say friends, I am my body type is XL. The shirt that fits me is XL. Now I'm assuming that all the students or whoever are in this class, all of you matches my body type, and I gifted you XL shirt. So some of your just medium, your body type is medium. What happened there? The shirt is very loose to you. And for some of you, you're let's say double XL in size, and for you, when you wear the shirt, you're looking quite awkward because it's very tight for you. But me, I'm in a mindset that since the shirt fits me, it fits everyone. I'm foolish approach. So I have to make sure, if at all I want to make the gift valuable, and if all of you should feel happy with it, what should I do? I should identify your body type and accordingly gift you the shirt, right? So the same thing here, friends. This software is requiring some packages like Java 8 and 1.0 packages as dependencies. If you provide the same here, the application works absolutely fine. But what happens at QA level, a QA server is configured with Java 17 and packages 5.0. So those dependencies are not letting the application behave as expected. That is the problem here. The problem is not with the code written by developer, but the dependencies that are mismatched. So how do we address this challenge? And each challenge we are unable to deliver a product to the client in time. So for addressing these challenges, we adapt DevOps culture. Adapt DevOps culture. DevOps and it's all about developing a product and delivering it to the client in time. So in process low, in software development and delivery, there are a lot of teams involved. A team effort at learning, the amount of time it takes, we should reduce it to the earliest and make sure that a quality product gets delivered to the client in time. So for that, what we do is we add automation, communication, and collaboration. Automation and like let me show you this quick game. మీకు తెలిసే ఉంటుంది అంటే మనం ఆటోమేషన్ ఎట్లా యాడ్ చేయాల్సి ఉంటుందంటే జస్ట్ హ్యావ్ ఎ లుక్ ఫ్రెండ్స్. అవేర్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ గేమ్? యా, ఆర్ వి అవేర్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ గేమ్? డామినో గేమ్ అంటారు కదండి. వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ డామినో గేమ్? స్టాక్స్ అప్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్. ఒక్క టచ్ చేయగానే what happens, everything falls one after another, right? So the same thing you have to do, meaning automate the entire process of software development to software delivery. You just touch one and everything gets collapsed one after another. And a process lo meeku unna activities anni kuda ఒకదాని తర్వాత ఒకటి ఆటోమేటిక్ అవి జరిగిపోతూ ఉంటాయి. You should set a pipeline of such activities. Okay, so stacking everything is very difficult this way, but touching it and watching that collapse, that entire structure collapsing is way too pleasant, right? A structure and stack చేయడం చాలా కష్టం అండి. But if you do a slight mistake, what happens? Everything begins. So likewise now, all we got to do is, set up an entire process of software development to delivery automated. Meaning whenever a developer writes code, immediately a tool should bring that code, perform a build, create a software package, deploy that to test, run some automated test cases, send email notifications to the teams whether the project is success or not. If everything is fine, release the product to the client. So is pile of activities and kuda, everything should happen one after another continuously. So for that, we should use a bunch of tools and automate that entire process. So for that, we got a huge set of tools, which are these: Git and GitHub, Maven, Nexus, Tomcat, SonarQube, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, and so on. These are all the tools using which what we do, we try to build a pipeline. And if we choose an example, like that, to perform a set of activities, just one activity when it triggers, rest of all the activities should automatically happen. For that, what we do, we adapt DevOps principles and strategies. Okay, DevOps is not a technology. That is why I said right at the beginning, it's not a technology. Okay, the database technology అనుకోండి, మీరు ప్రాజెక్ట్ లో మీకు డేటాబేస్ రిలేటెడ్ వర్క్ పైన కూర్చుంటారు అంతే. రైట్, ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ రిలేటెడ్ టు వెబ్ డెవలప్మెంట్ యాక్టివిటీస్ లో ఉంటారు మీరు అంతే. బట్ డెవాప్స్ అలా క్వాంటిఫై చేయలేము. It is a process that is involved in entire software development to delivery. Where challenges are raising in such areas, you have to add a solution. So that మీకు ఏంటంటే మొత్తం సాఫ్ట్వేర్ డెవలప్మెంట్ డెలివరీ ప్రాసెస్ అంతా తెలుసుంటుంది. What are the roles and responsibilities of a developer, of a QA person, of a product manager? You should know everything end to end and identify outliers, meaning where is the challenge, why the software is not getting released to the client in time, what is the challenge, identify the challenge, get a solution. So for that, we have enough tools in hand. These are all the tools using which what we do, we make sure that we develop a product and deliver a product to the client in time. Okay, so with DevOps added, see friends, once developers write code and maintain the code at GitHub, there is a tool, CI servers and but there is a tool called Jenkins, using which what we do is we create a job where Jenkins downloads that code, performs a build activity, creates a software package, deploys that to test environment, and if test cases are successful, it sends email notifications, success mail notifications, and with the help of some manager, it gets released to production. If fails, an email notification is sent to a development team saying the project failed. So ఇలాగ ఒక pipeline of activities ని మనం structure చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్ళాలన్నమాట. And for that, we got to make sure that we adapt more knowledge, we acquire more knowledge into all these different tools. Right, so we understood that an application software changing from platform to platform. ఇంతకుముందు ఇక్కడ ఒక ఛాలెంజ్ చూసాం కదండి, this one, software not behaving the same across multiple platforms. So in this scenario too, what should you do? Means in this scenario as well, what we got to do is we have to make sure that we package the application along with its dependencies. The application along with its dependencies, we should package them, club them together. Right, so then what happens is the same package when you deploy here, the application behaves the same. అంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం WhatsApp యూజ్ చేస్తాం, right? Not only us, across the globe, billions of users using WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, right? YouTube. Mobile applications ఎన్నో యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం. So when we are consuming these many mobile applications, do you think all the mobiles hold the same software? All our mobile configurations are the same? No. Then how is it happening? How mobile applications are behaving the same? Maybe me mobile iPhone I understand, Android phone. Both of us in common, we are using a mobile application. Because it's happening because the applications, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, and all these, they're made to behave uniform across all the platforms. No matter what hardware is, what software it is, the applications are made to behave the same across all the platforms. That is the reason what's happening here. We're able to develop, we're able to consume WhatsApp in multiple platforms, right? So the same thing we got to do here. Whatever the software is developed by a developer, we have to bundle it and make it behave the same across all the other platforms. Development to testing to pre-production to production, everywhere the software should behave the same. For that, we adapt for that we adapt container technology. Like Docker and tool. With that tool, what we do, we bundle up everything, a software along with its packages, and we make sure that we deploy the same application and the application behaves the same across all the platforms. Okay. So now, friends, these are the best practices that we're going to adapt in our DevOps journey. So DevOps and it's the process again saying involved in software development to delivery. Development activities, operational activities, we got to club them both and speed up the process. Identify more and more best practices and make sure we deliver a product to the client in time. So these are the best practices that we adapt. Continuous development, integration, testing, continuous delivery, deployment, infrastructure automation, configuration management, continuous monitoring, and security. So with DevOps, what we try to do is we try to achieve the first two business needs: continuous delivery, ensuring higher quality. Then what about cost optimization? Cost yeah, how are you going to reduce your spending, lesser spending, and then so let me give a quick example. Traveling by car from Hyderabad to Vizag is costlier, or taking a bus, going by a train is costlier. Car costlier, train costlier. Car is costlier when compared to we taking a public transport, right? Because if we go by car, petrol, fuel, next toll gates, right? If at all your car troubles you, you got to pay for that. Next, if you hire a driver, 700, 800 kilometers, you hire a driver, you got to pay wage for him. Everything is your responsibility, right? But now when you go on a train or a bus, toll gates can even we occupy a seat and we just continue our journey, right? So the same thing happens here too. We get cost-effective solutions by adapting to the cloud. So cloud computing cloud is becoming way too aggressive and very popular. But for the past decade, many organizations they started adapting to the cloud. Why is that? Means maintaining servers or doing getting infrastructure, everything from the cloud is way too cheaper when compared to we doing everything on premise. And a chin example, let's say I want to host a web. I started a web hosting company. Web hosting company starts where in my company I hold the data of my customers' websites. Websites and they should be available all the time, 24/7. Who accesses the website, we don't know, across the globe, right? So now, in order to make sure that my customer websites are always running, what should I do? Let's say this is my office. In this office, first I have to dedicate some space to my servers, right? I have some physical servers in which I host all the data of my customers. And those servers should always be running. If one of the server fails, immediately there should be a backup server which should get up and running, and my customer's website should always be running. And if there is, let's say, power outage, power supply outage in the city, now what should I do? Should I explain that to my customer saying, "Arey, website running low because there's a power outage"? Do they accept us? No, right? So I have to make sure that the servers are always equipped with power. So for that, I should plan a proper backup facility. Now, in this extreme heat condition, do you think servers run? They do generate a lot of heat, right? So for that, I have to make sure I enable some proper cooling facility. Next step, I have to make sure that someone is monitoring the servers and identifying whether the servers are equipped with enough CPU, RAM, and storage or not. If at all the servers are running out of storage, again, there is a possibility that my end users might face a challenge, right? So maintaining servers, on premise is way too costly. Now, what approach did I adapt means? say friends, I jump to some AWS cloud and create a server in the cloud. Next, we start practicing Linux in the from the next time, from the next class. If I need a Linux server, all I do is let's say console.cloud.google.com. Here a Windows laptop. I don't have Linux here. But now what am I doing is I'm connecting to some cloud account and I just go activate this activate cloud shell under. Now what happens is a server gets assigned to me, a Linux server, and I start practicing over here. So this Linux server is residing somewhere, we don't know. This server is running somewhere elsewhere. But now what happened, we are able to successfully connect to it and we get started of doing our things here. Right? And Google Cloud Platform, they are the ones who should make sure that my data in this server is secure. They have to provide me a server every time whenever I opt for it. So now, likewise, some of the services are offered for free, for a pricing. Majority of cloud vendors, what do? They offer us services for some pricing. And all we got to do is pay money and avail that service. So that you don't need to worry about the cooling facility for that server. You don't need to worry about storage and all. Those are all handled by your cloud vendor. So cloud computing became popular. Means it's all about we availing services like infrastructure as a service, platform, software as a service, without you putting any effort into purchasing the infrastructure. What you're doing, you're availing all of that as a service from the cloud vendors. Okay, so whatever the servers are required for us to practice this entire the entire concepts that we discussed so far in DevOps. What we try to do, we try to maintain all of them at the cloud level. So that cloud is way too cheaper when compared to on-premise, right? Even you are done with your project, what you do, you just disenroll from the services of the cloud, and that is it. You're no longer charging. But let's say you purchase all the servers and the project is over. Now what to do? You still have to maintain your servers and you still have to maintain your servers and you should keep on maintaining them, right? So that is one of the major advantage with a cloud platform. You spend less on your infrastructure, your environment, and you get going forward. Yeah, friends. So that is cost-effective nature, and finally, reduced outages. Meaning the application of my client should always be running; it should not fail. But I said right at the beginning, no matter whatever the application you take across the globe, any powerful application, at some point of time, there is a downtime for every application. Some maintenance we got to do on every application. When we perform such maintenance, the application should not fail. Meaning the customers who access that application, they should not fail. So how do you bring such high availability? Means there is a tool in our DevOps journey, we learn Kubernetes is a tool, container orchestration tool, using which what we do is we enable container orchestration capabilities like load balancing, high availability, disaster recovery, auto scaling functionality, and so on. And we always ensure that the containerized application is always running. No matter whatever happens over a cluster, your Kubernetes tool makes sure that your containerized application is always running. We bring that high available capability by learning Kubernetes at a great level. Likewise, organizations or cloud platforms, whenever you opt for some servers, even at that level too, you have you have an option to opt for high availability. Meaning some server is dead, you immediately want another server. So such high availability features we adapt and understand, in our throughout our entire course. So friends, again saying DevOps is nothing but set of principles and practices that we adapt in software organizations to fulfill these business needs. Simple as that. Okay. DevOps is a strategy. It's a culture that we adapt to make sure that an application gets developed and delivered to the client in time. Not only that, we get cost-effective solutions and reduced outages by adapting to the cloud and adapting high available tools like Kubernetes and functionalities like auto scaling and load balancing. Okay, yeah, that is all, friends, from the discussion today. So we got any questions? అంటే ఇంకా ఇన్ డెప్త్ వెళ్ళలేదండి మనం, మీనింగ్ ఐ wrapped up this high availability just by saying few words, but we go deeper, we get to know stateful applications, stateless applications and a concept, Kubernetes volumes and a concept. Okay, as we progress, as we get into the discussions, then you'll get to know all of them. Okay, yeah, online candidates, any questions, friends?
సారీ 3 o'clock మీటింగ్ అని చెప్పారు మాకు.
ఏదండి?
3 o'clock సెషన్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందని చెప్పారు మాకు.
3 o'clock మీరు ఆల్రెడీ ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ పార్టిసిపెంటా లేకపోతే?
ఇప్పుడే జాయిన్ అయ్యాను నేను, జస్ట్ ఆన్లైన్ పార్టిసిపెంట్.
అవునా, ఓకే. ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ బ్యాచ్ మీరు లేకపోతే?
ఎగ్జిస్ట్ మొన్న 12th కి జాయిన్ అయ్యాను లాస్ట్ వీక్. అంటే మీరు ప్రీవియస్ క్లాసెస్ చెప్తాన్నారు సాటర్డే సండే. సాటర్డే సండే కూడా జాయిన్ అయ్యాము, అసలు క్లాసే లేదు.
అదేనండి, సాటర్డే సండే మరి మేనేజ్మెంట్ నాకు ఏం రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ లేదు.
అవునా, మండే అంటే ఈ రోజే స్టార్ట్ అయింది మళ్ళీ క్లాస్. మండే ట్యూస్డే కూడా జాయిన్ అయ్యాను, ఆ రోజు లేకుండా క్లాస్.
మండే ట్యూస్డే లేదులేండి, మండే ట్యూస్డే లాస్ట్ 2 days నేను నాకు కొంచెం షోల్డర్ ఇంజురీ అవడం వల్ల నేను రాలేదండి.
ఇప్పుడు ఇది అంటే ప్రీవియస్ సెషన్ ఇది, అంటే బ్యాకప్ క్లాస్ అనేది? ఇది
డెమో సెషన్ అండి, ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ కొత్త బ్యాచ్ వాళ్ళకి డెమో.
ఓకే, అంటే 3 o'clock అని చెప్పారు మాకు అసలు.
ఓకే, నేను చెక్ చేస్తాను సార్ మేనేజ్మెంట్.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్స్ అండి. ఇప్పుడు ఉందండి క్లాస్ 3 తర్వాత లేదు కదా? హలో,
చూద్దామండి, ఎవరైనా జాయిన్ అయితే ఐ విల్ కంటిన్యూ.
ఓకే,
yeah, people who join for demo session, any questions, friends?
Prashant, will you provide us any like internship and any live projects? Will you involve us in any particular live project?
I wouldn't say live project, but yeah, starting from the beginning, we continue our project oriented approach, meaning every day we will provide you with assignments, and all those assignments clubbed together for some tool, we do a project. Again, another tool, once we learn, we do a project. So this way, for every tool we have projects. At this towards the end, we connect all the dots, meaning the core essence of DevOps, and you get to understand once we connect all the dots, like how to integrate Jenkins with Git, Maven, Nexus, Tomcat, SonarQube, Docker, Kubernetes, how all these when integrated together, when all of them are framed together, how do they work? Adi matram meeku last towards the end we do as a project. So if you term it as a live project, I would say that is a live project. Yeah. Internships, you got to check with the management, Andy. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Internships అంటే మీకు సాలరీస్ ఇవ్వాలేమో కదా?
పెయిడ్ ఇంటర్న్షిప్ కాదు, లైక్ నార్మల్ ఇంటర్న్షిప్ చేపిస్తారు కదా.
యా సో
అలాగా.
ఓకే
అంటే లైవ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్, లైక్ డైరెక్ట్ గా వెళ్ళి కూర్చుంటే ఎవరికి అర్థం కాదు కదా మీరు ఎంత ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసినా. సో దానికి ఇంటర్న్షిప్ ఏమన్నా ఉంటుందని అలా? అది
డెవాప్స్ కి ఏమవుతుందంటేనండి, ఆల్రెడీ వి ట్రైడ్, ఇదివరకు ఒక బ్యాచ్ కి ట్రై చేసాం ఇట్లా ఇంటర్న్షిప్ ప్రోగ్రామ్. అయితే ఏమవుతుందంటే ఇట్ వ్యారీస్, అంటే మనం డిస్కస్ చేసుకున్న కోర్ కాన్సెప్ట్ అంతా ఒకేలా ఉంటుంది డెవాప్స్ ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్. కొన్ని ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ కి వచ్చేసరికి వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తున్నారంటే, దే హ్యావ్ దేర్ ఇన్ హౌస్ అప్లికేషన్స్, నాట్ ఓన్లీ ద టూల్స్ దట్ వీ లెర్న్, దే హ్యావ్ దేర్ ఓన్ ఇన్ హౌస్ టూల్స్ అన్నమాట. సో దే ఇంప్లిమెంట్ దేర్ సొల్యూషన్స్ విత్ దేర్ ఇన్ హౌస్ టూల్స్. ఆ ప్రాసెస్ లో ఏమవుతుందంటే, ఈ స్టూడెంట్స్ మరలా వెనక్కి వచ్చి మీరు చెప్పిందేమో ఇట్లా ఉంది, బట్ దే హ్యావ్ దేర్ ఓన్ టూల్స్ where the functionality is entirely different. Now I'm not able to follow along. Itla vasthunayi anamata queries. So that is the reason.
నాకు అర్థం కాలేదు. అంటే ఆర్గనైజేషన్ అంటే లైక్ కెరీర్ బ్రిడ్జ్ టైప్, వేరే వాళ్ళ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ వాళ్ళు ఇన్బిల్ట్ వాళ్ళ పర్టికులర్ యాప్స్ పెట్టుకోవడం వల్ల వేరే చేయడానికి వాళ్ళకి కుదరట్లేదు అంటారు, అంతేనా?
అదేనండి, నేను చెప్తాను. ఇప్పుడు మీరు TCS కి వర్క్ చేస్తున్నారు.
అవును, నేను ఇంకా అసలు ఏ వర్క్ చేయలేదు. ఇంతకు ముందు నేను టెస్ట్ ఇంజనీర్ లా చేసేదాన్ని. అదంతా TCS లో జాబ్ వచ్చింది. ఇప్పుడు బెంచ్ మీద ఉన్నా కరెంట్.
Okay, fine. That is what. Now let's say you learn Jenkins. Let's say TCS, they got their own CI/CD process.
Okay.
In such a case, what happens? when you stick to doing CI/CD activities with Jenkins and you are thinking only Jenkins is the tool, in such a case you face a challenge.
అంటే ఇది ఇప్పుడు ఎలాగో ఫ్రెషర్ కిందే వస్తుంది కదా. ఇప్పుడు నేను నేర్చుకునేది లైక్ స్క్రాచ్ నుంచి నేర్చుకుంటున్నాను కదా. సో అప్పుడు ఏది అనేది ఏం ఫరక్ పడదు కదా.
అదే అంటే మీకు అండర్స్టాండింగ్ కేపబిలిటీ ఉంటే ఓకే అండి. బట్ లెట్స్ సే వాట్ ఎవర్ ఐ టీచ్ దట్ ఈస్ ద ఓన్లీ థింగ్. యా ప్లీజ్.
అదే చెప్పండి. చెప్పండి.
ఇది ఈ పని ఏంటంటే వన్స్ మీకు అంటే కోర్స్ అయ్యి మీరు స్టెబిలైజ్ అయ్యి ఆ టైంకి మీ నాలెడ్జ్ ఏంటనేది మనకి మాక్ ఇంట్రెస్ట్ లో అర్థమవుతుంది.
ఓకే.
You will decide whether you want to go with the existing experience or else as a fresher.
ఓకే.
ఇంకా టైం ఎక్కువ అంటే మనం ఏంటంటే విల్ డిగ్ ఇంటు ద టెక్నాలజీ ఉంది. టెక్నాలజీ మనం ఎంత స్ట్రాంగ్ ఉంటే అంత ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ పెట్టడానికి మనం యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. దాన్ని ఎగ్జిస్టింగ్ మీకు అప్పటికి ఎన్ని మంత్స్ అవుతుంది, దాని డెసిగ్నేషన్ ఏంటి, దాన్ని ఎట్లా యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకోవాలని అప్పుడు సార్తో కూర్చొని మళ్ళీ మనం సపరేట్ సెషన్ తీసుకుంటాం ఎలా.
ఓకే.
ఓకే, ఫస్ట్ టెక్నాలజీ తర్వాత మీ నాలెడ్జ్ ఏంటో అసెస్ చేసుకుని దానికి తగ్గట్టుగానే ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ పెడదాం.
అంటే జీరో నాలెడ్జ్ కదా, సో నాకు అందుకు డౌట్ వచ్చి
ఈ రోజు కాదు కోర్స్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత.
ఓకే. ఓకే.
కోర్స్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత
ఓకే.
ఎందుకంటే అందరూ 10 మంది అటెండ్ అయితే 10 మంది ఒక స్టేజ్ లో ఉండరు కదా. డిఫరెంట్ స్టేజెస్ లో ఉంటారు. వాళ్ళ ప్రాక్టీస్ ని బట్టి, వాళ్ళు వినే విధానాన్ని బట్టి, వాళ్ళ బేసిక్ నాలెడ్జ్ ని బట్టి కదా. మనం కూడా ఏంటంటే ఏదో బ్లైండ్ గా ఇండియన్స్ పెట్టండి, ఇలా పెట్టండి, అలా పెట్టండి అని అట్లా చెప్పడం కాకుండా, ఓకే, ఆ రోజున్న మీ నాలెడ్జ్ ని బట్టి విల్ డిసైడ్. ఓకేనా?
ఓకే.
ఎనీ అదర్ క్వశ్చన్స్?
నో, థాంక్యూ.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Yeah, friends, just a minute, I'll get back.